Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. Fackham Hall or Fackham Hall, however you want to pronounce it, right? That's a new movie came out. I went and saw it yesterday. I'm a big Jimmy Carr fan, so I had to go see it, and I enjoyed it. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about on Coffee with Alain today. Before we get to that, sharing a Christmas time mug. My daughter actually bought that when she was in Austria last year and gave it to me as a Christmas present last year from a big market that's over there. And you see I'm wearing a pin shirt as well, because thinking about the daughter, because last night she performed at Carnegie Hall. She sent a couple pictures and a video. She was part of that pen ensemble that performed at Carnegie Hall last night. So that's pretty cool. First time she was at Carnegie Hall, the wife and I went to New York City to watch that performance. It was with her high school band. We weren't able to be in New York City this weekend, but we were happy that she sent pictures and a video. I posted a couple on Facebook last night. Just so proud of everything she's doing. You know, she's swamped right now with travel and finals and different things, but she said it was a really cool, incredible experience. Had fun with her friends that she went there with. So very proud and excited for her. Looking forward to her being home soon, where we're going to have a very unique Christmas. I'm going to talk about that on an upcoming show. A lot of the traditions that we normally do for Christmas were not this year because we're doing something totally different. So I'll talk a little bit about traditions and some of that on an upcoming show. Today, I wanted to talk about Fackham Hall. Fackham Hall. It's weird because depending on how they say it. Sometimes in a movie they say fa, but sometimes with the European action it comes out as fa. But it's just a funny movie. I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Carr. I like his Netflix comedy specials. I have his audio book, which he did the reading of. Really enjoyed that because it's not just funny. There's actually a lot of life lessons in his book. The guy is brilliant, as most good comedians have to be. And sometimes when he's answering serious questions and talking seriously, the guy really is brilliant and smart. And I agree with a lot of what he says. And then he's just off the wall funny, just brilliant. Again, like most good comedians have to be. So when I found out he was involved with this movie, I had to go see it. He only has a small part in the movie. However, he was a co-producer and a co-writer and was one of the ones that came up with the idea. So he was very much involved, even though he only had a small role in the movie. And the movie is just silly. If you liked the Naked Gun movies, whether the old ones or the new one with Neeson, if you like the airplane type movies that were similar, the comedy ones, not the disaster ones, that's what this movie is like. Except it's set in the 1930s in England. It's sort of a Downton Abbey kind of look and setting, but just ridiculously funny and silly. And you have to pay attention because the signs and the different little things are so absurd. And they're always saying just the stupid, silliest things that can be taken different ways. And it's just nonstop, ridiculously silly kind of stuff going through the story of these, up and ups that all of the former sons have died. They have the names of the Beatles. So his son, John and Paul and Ringo and George, all of those sons died. So they don't have an heir. And so, but it gets all convoluted and, marrying cousins and relationships. And it's just absurd and silly. And so I found myself chuckling through the movie. You spot these little things that just make you go, oh, wow. Okay. And so it's fun. Just a lighthearted, silly comedy, really stupid. you don't take anything seriously, and you just, for a little over an hour and a half, you chuckle at some of these absurd jokes and silliness. I liked it. And I liked Jimmy Carr. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Vicky. Appreciate you guys being here. Good morning, Dixon. Dixon said, so how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Hint, practice, practice, practice. Exactly right. That's how she got there the first time, because of practicing hard with the flute and piccolo, which she played. And then they got there this year by working hard for the performance, the School of Rock performance that she was in at Penn. So that's all I had for you today. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, be sure to do that. It's going out later tonight. I was working on it this morning. Going to have a holiday theme to it, some different articles and different tips and strategies to enjoy and stay safe during this holiday season. Because I want you to get out and enjoy so much, but I want you to be safe while you're doing it. So that's the theme of a number of the pieces in this week's newsletter. Check out Enjoy Life Safely while you're signing up for the newsletter. Check out Self-Defense Essentials. It is available now. It's on the lowest price it's ever going to be with the early bird sale, which is only good through this month. Price will go up on January 1st. So check that out while you're there. You can give it as a gift. There's an option. You could say give as a gift and have that person receive the email gift on Christmas Day. So you could set that up and give it to people that you care about and that you want to provide some self-defense training to help them. And you can, again, schedule the day that they receive the email and get that gift. So a lot of good stuff at enjoylifesafely.com. And then Dixon says, so subtle, dry humor, much like Benny Hill, double entree type stuff, correct? It does have some of that as well. You know, it's again, sort of like the Airplane and Naked Gun movies, like some of the Benny Hill stuff used to be. And it's just silly kind of stuff. So Dixon also said, also a day which will live in infamy. Yes, December 7th, Pearl Harbor. For any of you that have traveled to Hawaii, that's sort of a must-stop visit. It's not an enjoyable visit. You know, I like to go travel and enjoy things, but sometimes we travel and we learn from history. And going out to the Pearl Harbor monument and taking the boat out there and seeing the ships that were sunk and they're still below the surface, pretty sombering. And when you read about what went on and some of the heroic acts that people did and how many people died, you know, it was the worst attack on the United States soil at that time. It is the catalyst that got us involved in both campaigns of World War II, both in the Pacific and in Europe. And when you go to something like that, it does make you think. And it also reminds us of the horrors of war and why we really need to do a better job on an international level, because stuff's still going on today. And I don't want to get too political or get deep into that, but we need to do a better job at communicating and negotiating and trying to do things through peace. Because unfortunately, the war machine, the racket of the war machine, as some people call it, and there's some truth into that, a lot of lives are lost. And when you go to Pearl Harbor, you see some of that and you're reminded of some of that. Anyway, thank you for bringing that up, Dixon. I was going to say something about it earlier when I thought about it this morning, and then I spaced it. But yeah, today, December 7th, the anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack. It was also when I was in college taking Japanese, my first year of college taking Japanese courses. December 7th was our final. Sort of ironic kind of day to have a final in our Japanese course on December 7th. I don't think the instructor planned it that way. It just happened. But anyway, thanks for bringing that up. If you want some light comedy, just silliness, this was a fun little movie to watch. I enjoyed it. Again, you have to like that absurd silliness and just off the wall. And you got to pay attention because there's so many little things that just like, oh man, I can't believe they put that in there. Or it'll give you a little chuckle when you catch it. And there are probably things that I missed. If I watched it again, I'd probably catch something else. So good movie. I enjoyed it. December 7th, take time to remember, reflect on that. Get the newsletter, check out Self-Defense Essentials, and make it a spectacular Sunday. We'll be back to see you tomorrow.